Hello and welcome to Indie Encounter. My name is Sandra Laraine Coleman. The mission of our show is to give independent performers and artists access to as wide an audience as possible and to give you, our viewers, a window into their art, their artistic process, what makes them tick as human beings, and why they have chosen their particular avenue to connect with the world. All art is about communication and connection. Let's meet today's indie artist, spoken word artist, Seabone Jones. Welcome to the show, Seabone.
Thanks for having me.
How you doing today?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm awesome. I'm awesome because I have you as a guest in the studio.
Oh, thank you.
I want to say I so appreciate you and your art.
Thank you. The feeling is mutual.
Oh, thank you very much. But what I want to ask you is, you started out as a rapper. You didn't start out as a poet. And what was that like?
I started off in a little group in junior high school with Mac 10, well-known rapper. That was just an experience. It was a diversion from playing baseball when I was little. I would go to school and just, get into little ciphers and start rapping. It was a way to, get my pen wet and, get used to the flow.
Right. Get used to the flow and get used to it. You did.
Right.
And
It kind of
so-
helped me.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And so, what is like the process of writing? I know you said you would get into ciphers, with the rap group, but as far as poetry, what is your process of writing?
My process of writing is like writing standards.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm like 2 lines on a page, and if I mess up and I ball it up, my goal is to finish a page, neat,
Right.
and that helps me because usually by the time I'm finished with it, I already have it memorized because I've written it so many times. So my process is just sitting there and just making sure I'm getting out the words, making sure they're clear and everything is neat, and it usually translates on stage.
So, and what's your inspiration like for some of the things? Because you have some, like, really intricate,
I don't
intellectual.
know what inspires some of the stuff. It's Los Angeles. It's just beautiful black women.
Wow.
It just depends, It's something that moves me. Black on brown violence, just different
Right.
things move me, and I write about it.
Right.
I don't really know where the inspiration comes from. The inspiration comes from sometimes just being broke and feeling like this is my only outlet. I got to write something thinking that this is going to make the next million for me. So
I know that's right. And there's
That's
nothing
real.
wrong with that. Yeah, and you never know because there have been poems, songs, whatever
Definitely.
that people have written,
Definitely.
and that's exactly what it did. It made millions.
Right.
It
changed a
so-
life.
Well, I'm praying that happens for you and me too.
Definitely.
So, when you go to a venue, I know there's a lot of venues around. What kind of venue do you like more than, like, do you like to go to a venue where there's slam artists, or like the mood is a little more intimate?
These days, well, from traveling Los Angeles, you can tell Los Angeles is different from other places because other places you're able to go in and hear spoken word and actually buy a drink. A lot of places in Los Angeles, you're not able to do that. And a lot of my work is, I want to say, grown up. And I might mention something about Remy Martin, and it doesn't apply the same if I'm in a venue where there's majority kids. So my favorite type of venue is a venue where people are comfortable, they have a few drinks in them, and they don't mind sitting there and listening to a few words and
Right.
that type of thing.
Right. Now, you've not only performed around Los Angeles, but you've been other places too, like Atlanta. Tell us some of the other places that you've been.
I've been Atlanta, Houston, New York, Nuyorican,
Wow.
on the streets of Harlem, just many places.
Yeah.
Puerto Rico.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow. So
Yeah.
not only were you able to do some things here, you've been able to actually go out of the United States and do some. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome. Poetry, that
Poetry
million.
take you places.
Yes,
It'll take you
yes it
places.
will. Yes it will. And
Touch the right people.
right. And sometimes for it to take you places, you don't even have to leave where you are.
Yeah. Just let it
'Cause
do its own work.
You just let it do its own
Right.
work. And now, what would you say to like some of the younger artists coming up? Because I know you're not new at this. You're not a newbie. So, and there are a lot of artists coming up,
Right.
and they think just because they put some words on the paper,
Right.
that's poetry. So, what would you say to them?
I would say to them, make sure they're doing it for the right reason. Make sure they're writing something that's coming from their heart. I feel like we came along in an era where we didn't really have a C-Bone Jones or a Sandra Laraine to imitate.
Right.
And we came along in a time where poetry was, attempting to go mainstream. And so we embraced that and we became these, local celebrities. And now they're young poets, they're able to sit and look, and it's not really, something affecting them that's making them want to do spoken word. They're doing it because they see somebody else doing it.
Right.
And it's not really coming from their heart. It becomes, more about, how they can make somebody in the crowd laugh or clap than just writing it from the heart and forgetting about, what everybody thinks. So
Right.
if they're doing it from their heart, that's all, I would say to them.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And a lot of times they need to hear that, because I've seen some people do it just to see if they can get girls or if
Right.
they can get guys. And
Right.
that's so not what it's about.
Right.
But it's hard to tell, people that, especially when they see somebody on stage like C-Bone getting the reaction that he gets,
Knock it up.
No, seriously. I'm telling you, if I was probably that age and I saw you on stage getting that kind of reaction out of just the crowd, it's probably the attention that they want, not so much doing it for the right reason, like you said. So
Yeah, but the response I get, I think I get it because I've been the same person from day one, and I ran the course with, other poets. So
right.
people got to see me grow up,
Right.
pretty much. So.
And you stay true to yourself, though. And see, a lot of people, if you go to a poetry venue and you're younger and you don't even realize what C-Bone Jones has gone through to get to where he
Right.
is, I'm saying you might look at it as a whole different reason. That might be like, oh, I see the rapper on TV. I don't know he went to college and, he had to grow up on the streets of New York or Compton or whatever, and I don't see all that. I just
Right.
see,
They just see
what's
what-
in front of me
right.
right now. Yeah, so.
I embrace that, though, because it allows me to, get to a place where I can share that with them and give them like that shock value, the element of surprise.
Right.
They thought it was only, perfect, but it's a lot of struggle that goes into it. There's a lot of triumph.
It's a lot of hard work.
A lot of hard work.
A lot. I remember nights being up, we like watching the sun come up because,
Right.
Even after the poetry venue, we so amped up from, the energy. And
Just for the love of it.
for the love. For the
Right.
love. Speaking of for the love of it, I know you brought some work with you. Would you please share a piece with us?
Okay. Share a piece. Okay, this is one free verse, one mic, one test. Who's the best? One guess. CB1J, 1S. I spit it hot like off the press. Ladies love me like a new dress because I'm a West Sider writer. They say I'm tight. Don't believe the hype. I'm tighter. Face it, success is sweet. I can taste it again. I've been in here before and I'm back for more. Open the door to a bona fide building and get the children out the street. I cuss when I speak, but you can best believe I take you deep. I spent half my life in cleats, but I needed a break like beats, so I broke, took a toke and left white smoke behind me. Seeking you shall find me. I like that.
Yes. You just, but it's almost like it's natural. It's so natural, and you're so comfortable.
It's a gift. So
Yeah. See, there you go. It's a gift,
It's a gift.
And everybody can't be a C-Bone Jones, but you have to have. Now, how would you suggest, or what would you suggest to a young person? Because there's different styles out there, and you have your own style. Most artists do, but then there are people that you hear, they sound like so-and-so. You can actually see who they're trying to imitate.
Right.
So what would you suggest to the artist that's trying to imitate somebody else?
The way only way I could put it is, you have McDonald's, you have Burger King, you have a fabulous burger that's on the corner somewhere. But each time you go to these places, you know what you're going to get.
Right.
So you have to provide a service to the poetry community. You have to be something that we know when we want this is what we're going to get.
Right.
If you're going to be a love poet, when we want to hear a love poem, we have to know what corner to turn, where we're going to pull up and get our love poem from.
Right.
And you have to be consistent with that.
Right.
So that's the only thing I can pretty much tell them, is to be consistent in whatever lane you're in.
Exactly. Exactly. And that makes a whole lot of sense. And I know that you you take such good care of the work that you do, and I know you had a book because you actually played baseball.
Right.
And something happened to you. Do you want to talk about that?
Well, the short story was like fabricated, but it was based off of my experience of playing minor league baseball, and just based off of the experience of, being a young guy, and the next day you're getting drafted and you're signed and you're traveling.
Right.
So it was a short story I wrote called Friction. My baseball career ended because of an ankle injury, but just my creative mind and my writing, it led somewhere else when I started writing that short story. So I didn't actually go to jail and be accused of murder and all that, but
Right.
it felt like that.
Ah.
It felt like, minor league baseball to me felt like slavery. It felt like being on a plantation. So that's how it came out when I wrote about it.
And so, but the writing about that was your freedom?
That was my freedom. That was my, being able to sit down, and it's almost like the pen was my weapon. It was my way to respond to the treatment. So.
And so that's what you use every day.
That's what I use every day.
Every day. So do you write every day, or is there a certain time that you write?
For me, writing is a habit. It's a habit, like people who smoke cigarettes.
Right.
It's a habit for me.
Right. So you're writing basically all day.
Yeah.
Yeah. That makes a whole lot of sense.
Throughout the day.
Right.
Even if I'm writing the same words over and over throughout the day, I'm getting it. It's like self-edit along the way.
Right. Now, how do you come up with those clever analogies that you...
I guess you can just chalk it up to keeping my ear to the street and, just hearing, the words that are around my community and using them.
Yeah,
It's like the people who say those analogies are not poets. I am. So then I can get on stage and present them and make them fit, make them right for the poetry crowd.
Make them poetic.
Right.
Absolutely, absolutely. Right. That is awesome. I think because everybody has their own different process, and so listening to you and your process, I hear some similarities in mine, but then I hear some differences too, which makes C-Bone C-Bone.
Right.
And then which makes Sandra Laraine Coleman. Everybody has their own little process.
Right.
Now, out of all the places that you've been through poetry, what is your favorite place?
You mean venue?
Like venue or city, or what is your favorite place that you've been?
My favorite place is going to be Los Angeles because that's where I'm from.
Right.
But there is a stage in Atlanta called the Apache Cafe. The Apache Cafe is real nice. It's a real mature crowd. There's a bar, you can have a drink. There's a back patio area. But the people are real knowledgeable of the spoken word scene. The fans are. So
right.
It's 250, 300 people every Sunday night who are really embracing spoken word, and I like it there.
Wow, that's a lot of people.
It's a lot of people.
Because most venues here aren't really that big unless you in Hollywood or something. Yeah. So do you prefer the Hollywood crowd too, or does it matter to you? You just want to be able to have a place where you can express.
It doesn't matter to me, but I'm always each time I speak or whatever, I'm working on something. So the Hollywood crowd gives you a chance to work on something because it's not a poetry crowd.
Right.
They know you, but they don't know your body of work.
Right.
So you have to win them over, and it's more challenging than getting up there and having everybody know your work and making you feel like you don't have to work as hard to win them over. So it's more challenging to go somewhere where Hollywood is trying to bring in spoken word, and your job is to win them over.
Right. Now, I noticed that you have on your black hoodie today. You want to tell us a little bit about why you...
Oh, yeah, I just, representing this, feeling like it's the least I can do considering what's going on in the world.
Right.
And just feeling like if a hoodie makes you look suspicious, then that's the world we live in. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm. But that's because of what happened with the young man that got
Exactly.
shot, Trayvon Martin. Yeah, and I noticed I should have worn mine. I didn't even think. I apologize for that.
But the thing is that, like my man asked me earlier behind the camera, was I wearing it for that reason? Or that's the thing, we wear them anyway.
Right, right.
We wear them anyway, and just a young man is wearing one, and
right.
That's like a way out for you to say that he's looking suspicious. It's ridiculous.
It is, because it's just a sweatshirt with a hood on it.
Right.
I mean, it just so happened that creative, my people, we call them hoodies.
Right.
You know, so it's just,
I know there are some people out there wearing different hoods that are doing worse things to people with my paint job.
Yes, absolutely. See how creative that was? My paint job. Classic. I mean, it was a poetic line, but everybody knows what you're talking about.
Right.
I mean, what else can you say?
That's real.
Do you have another piece that you would like to share with us?
I'll do this one for you. From the soul, for the soul queens with ambition, listen to the rhyme. It's about time somebody spoke up for you. I adore you, even if Hollywood ignores you. I know you can. Be a thespian if you so desire. Gone are the days of hooking for hire. Call the director a liar if he tells you the role requires you to set me back. That ass up, if that's what you're here for. My dear, you're too near your destination to be facing pubic hairs on the casting couch. Pull one, ouch. That hurts, but it's true. The things some do, it's enough to drive you crazy. If you want to play the precious lady, you gotta be precious, lady.
Woo! And that was clearly a message to Hollywood.
Right. That's a piece called Precious Lady. I wrote it after I saw what Halle Berry won her award for. The work that she had to do to win that award, it just didn't really sit well with me, and that's what came from it.
Wow.
I also performed that piece for Def Poetry Jam in 2003, and the crowd received it very well, but apparently the message, they didn't air it because of the tone of the message. So.
Yeah, that's their loss, though, because when you do a piece like that, for that purpose, you want it.
That's what you want.
Yeah. But that ain't what they want.
That's not what they want.
But see, what we need to do is have our own stations, have our own television stations where we're able to, whatever the message is that we want people to get.
Well,
as long as,
we're getting in that position.
Yeah. I know you're working on it.
We're getting in that position.
I know you are. Absolutely. So you also host or have hosted venues before. Which hat do you like wearing best, the host or the performer?
I like the performer better.
Yeah.
The host is a lot of work.
Yeah.
I hosted and still do. I host Wordplay Live.
Mm-hmm.
It's an open mic venue. I run it pretty much like a television show during interviews, live on within a show. Mm-hmm. And I felt like that was missing on our scene, feeling like that we were going to a different plateau, and that once we got there, we would need to know how to sit down and do an interview like this. So that's how I ran my spoken word show. Mm-hmm. It'll be coming back June 2nd, and that's going to be in Gardena. I'm bringing it back June 2nd, so stay tuned for that. I don't have as much information as I should, but it'll be June 2nd.
Absolutely. And you have a space worked out?
Yeah, it's going to be 163rd and Main in Gardena. Mm-hmm. It's at Chopper's Clubhouse.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
Chopper's Clubhouse.
It's a real nice venue.
Yeah. All right.
Trying to do something different this time.
And so, did you find with doing the interviews and like actually documenting, interviewing the artists that made it? I mean, what did it do for the venue? Did it make it better?
It made it better because it was something different. It was what was missing in the community. We needed to put a spotlight on what we were doing.
Right.
Instead of just doing it and going home, we needed to put a spotlight on it and get used to coming somewhere where we felt like we were celebrities. We needed to start embracing that and walking in that light if we were going to start, teaching people who were coming behind us.
Right.
So it was just learning venue etiquette and just different things and how to apply them as far as television and film goes.
Right. And you also went to film school. We're going to get into this a little bit later, but you went to film school, and so that I'm pretty sure helped you with your vision.
It helped with the vision. It helped with, just knowing the angles of, where to set up cameras and how to capture what poets were saying.
Right.
And just the lighting of different pieces,
Right.
like how to light a love poem, how to light, a more
Right.
political poem, and just different things like that would help me.
I'm sure. I'm sure. I've seen a little bit of your work, and like I said, we'll get into that a little bit more later, but phenomenal work that you've done, not only as a spoken word artist, but as a filmmaker as well. And so are there opportunities for you to go into the community and like talk to the youth or, explain?
Well, that's one of the avenues that you're able to pursue to make money. I don't want to just make it seem like my career is all about making money, because I understand the art, but at some point we deserve to get paid, and I have no problem saying that.
Exactly.
So a lot of the work that I do is going to junior high school, elementary, and high schools and speaking to kids, sharing my story with them, expressing how, triumph is, prevalent in the world, and just let them know they can do different things. Let them know that a poet is not always about, the roses and the stars.
Right.
It can be a person that's right next to you that has the same, dialect as you, walk the same swag that you have, but can be a poet and spit it like, a street poet that can give it to you like you need to hear it.
Right. And what kind of, like for the youth, what do you see most? Is it fear? Is it, have they been abused? Or what are the things that you see the most with the youth, the biggest issue that they have?
The biggest issue I see with the youth is leadership. So many of them, we've presented it so that we need more and more leaders, and we don't really have the ones that they need to look up to.
Right.
So we find them, trying to do things themselves with a whole new rule book. So it's like a generation gap, if you will, a generation gap to the point where we don't communicate well with the youth today.
Right.
But there are many, many programs that exist that are changing those things. And one of the biggest problems here in Los Angeles is like the black on brown violence, where kids are just beating up each other just because of the color.
Right.
They're waiting on you after school, and
Right.
it's just ridiculous, So it's just, leadership, being able to have a good leader, being able to have places to go in the community to keep you away from, the negativity.
Right.
More positive, activities.
Right. And so do you find that they're hungry for some kind of creative outlet? Is that where you're seeing with the youth, that they're not only the leadership, but like just something else besides, because a lot of them seem to be angry.
Right, it's a
That's
lot of
what
anger.
I've seen, yeah.
It's a lot of anger because it's like everything is closed in. You feel like the walls are closing in on you. It's trickled down because of the world we're living in today. And the kids are feeling it just as bad as the adults, but
Right.
the adults have to take the extra time with the kids so that they can know that the rules that were placed in the past still have to apply today. It takes a village to raise, and that doesn't exist anymore.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, I want to thank you so much.
Thank you. I want to tell you I'm proud of you and happy for you for having this show. It's tight.
Thank you. Thank you for coming on and being a guest and sharing your experience and your work.
Anytime. Sorry it took so long to get to you.
That's okay. You're here now. You're here now.
That's right.
Thank you. This has been Indie Encounter. a journey into the world of the independent creators of art and artistic communication. I want to thank today's guest, Seabone Jones, for sharing his artistic vision with us. If you want to find out more about today's guest, check him out on Facebook at /Seabone Jones or follow him on Twitter at Seabone Jones. Also, check out our website here at PasadenaCommunityNetwork.com and select the Arroyo channel. You may also check out the website 4mark.com for additional contact information. Thanks to our director, Lilia Fernandez-Gaspar, and crew for making the show possible. Thanks to all of you. We hope to see you here again when we embark on another Indie Encounter.